I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you an excellent question from my student Gurmeen. She wants to understand how to sketch the graph of y equals to minus cube root of 2x plus 10 minus 4. Now let's try to see how we can use transformations to sketch this graph. Now first step is let's rewrite the function so that we get the right kind of transformations. We have minus cube root. We should take 2 common, right? So that is the first thing. Once you take 2 common, you get x plus 5 within the cube root and minus 4. Now we know exactly the transformations, right? So this really means that the graph of the function is reflected on the x-axis. It is horizontally compressed by a factor of half, translated 5 units left. And this is 4 units down, right, vertically. That is, everything inside is horizontal. So that is the kind of transformation. Now, to sketch the graph, let's look into the points. If we have x, y as the coordinate points on the cube root function, so we are talking about a cube root function, cube root of x, then in this graph which is transformed, the x values will get multiplied by half, so it gets half of x and then take away 5 since it moves 5 units to the left. As far as the y points are concerned, it becomes negative reflection on x-axis and then negative 4. So that is the transformation which is going to take for each and every point. What we can do here is that we can make a table of values. For a cube root function, good points to consider are, of course, 0, 0, minus 1, cube root is minus 1, and then 1, 1. You can take 8, cube root of 8 is 2, right? You could take 8 and 2, or minus 8 and cube root of minus 8 is minus 2. You could take these points also for more accuracy. Perfect. Now, after the transformations, what really happens? The x value will be half and then move 5 units to the left. So 0, 0, which is a very critical point, let's try to analyze this point. It moves to a position which is 0 times x is 0, minus 5 basically. And the y value will be minus 4. The point minus 1 will be like minus 0.5, correct? So this will be minus 5.5, the x value. The y value will be minus and minus makes it plus, so it becomes minus 3. 1, 1 means half, that is 0.5. If you take away minus 5 from 0.5, you get minus 4.5. The y value will become minus 1 minus 4, which is minus 5. Taking 8 and 2, half of 8 is 4, and 4 minus 5 is minus 1. So at minus 1, the y value will be minus 6. Taking minus 8, half of minus 8 is minus 4. So we get minus 9 here. And this becomes plus 2. So plus 2 minus 4 is minus 2. So these are the good points to take. So that comes from transformations, right? Now, what will be the shape of the curve? That is the second part which we need to look into. So basically, cube root function is kind of like this. Let's sketch a cube root function. So cube root function is like a square root function on in the right hand side, right? And here it is kind of like this. This is your cube root of x. Now, if I do these transformations, that is, it is reflected, that means this portion comes down, that goes up, right? It has moved 4 units down, right? So it is almost all these points are coming downwards, and this point, which was at 0, moves to a point which we see as -5, -4. So this point kind of moves here, right? And the graph which we get after reflection will be kind of like this. Do you see that? So that is the result we are expecting with these values, right? All y values are negative. So we are expecting, they will definitely become positive since, we have taken smaller values. If I took minus, let us say, here 64, then we'll have a positive value for sure, correct? So ultimately it will cross this axis and the y values will be from negative infinity to positive infinity. But that is the kind of graph we are looking for on this graph paper. Since everything is negative, what I will do here is instead of making line here, we'll go slightly up since I need -6 also. Okay, so let me just sketch the graph x-axis kind of here. So that is my x-axis. Y-axis, let me sketch, since the y values we're looking for -9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, we have quite a few points. Let's keep it in the center. Okay. So we have x and y axis here. We just need to plot these points to finally sketch the graph. Let's begin with 0, 0, which has been now transferred or transformed to -5, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is -4, correct? And this is -5. So we get our first point. The other 2 points are very close to this. One on the right is -4.5 and -5. So -4.5 and -5. And then we have 5.5 and -3. And then we have -9, -2. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and -2. Right? So that becomes that point. And then we have -1, -6. So 4 and 2, 6, right? So -1, -6. When we put 8 and 2, cube root of 8 is 2, right? So -2 and then negative or -4 gives us -6. So those are the points of interest for us. That is the shape of the curve, right? So the shape remains almost the same as shown here, but we need to reflect it and then sketch it. So the graph could now be sketched as, let me use another ink here. So we have a graph which is kind of like this. Right? So I should have taken it through this, but I hope you get an idea that this becomes your function as shown by the given equation. Correct? Now this point here is kind of a vertical asymptote. So this point is like a vertical asymptote. Do you see that type of a curve? So when you sketch, this is kind of much deeper than what I got finally. Correct? But that is how you could sketch the graph of a cubic transformed function. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you really like my videos, that'd be great. Once again, thanks Gurmeen for sharing this question, and all the best.